I think if it was Saturday morning, I ran around the corner to get some milk.
A last-minute bike ride at dawn. 26-year-old mother of two, Joanne Hauser, runs out to grab milk for that morning's breakfast.
I went by the same way I usually go, and I thought I heard something like a cat.
She detours from her morning errands, noticing a paper bag next to a dumpster. She moves in for a closer look.
So I went over and I looked into this bag, and there was a baby in the bag.
A baby, astonishingly naked with the umbilical cord still attached, wrapped only in a towel. Someone had left her there. No note, no identification, nothing.
I picked up the bag and I rode back lickety-split to my house, and I dialed 911.
The local television station, KABC, captures this video of baby Jane Doe, a newborn just hours old, in an incubator at the hospital, where the nurses hang a sign on her cradle, "I know I'm somebody." The local newspaper hails the woman on the bicycle as an angel of mercy. Joanne, the Good Samaritan, stops by the hospital every day for a week, checking up on the beautiful abandoned baby.
She looked like a little doll, little tiny doll, just perfect.
The nurses nicknamed the baby Lady Diana, after the princess who got married as the world watched 4 days earlier.
And so London now sees for the first time.
It was 1981. Foreigner's Urgent was tearing up the charts. Big hair and big money became emblematic of the go-go 80s. Greed was good. But there are no gilded mansions in this unassuming working-class community of Lawndale, California, clustered in the shadow of Los Angeles, where liquor stores dot the thoroughfares, and Hawthorne Boulevard, where baby Doe was found, held a gritty distinction back then.
What's its reputation?
Prostitution.
Cece Moore is a genetic genealogist whose specialty is foundlings, the name for abandoned babies.
Initially, I thought perhaps the mother was a prostitute that was working on Hawthorne Boulevard and really didn't have a lot of options.
No options because in 1981, there were no safe haven laws, which allow parents to hand over a baby to law enforcement or hospitals, no questions asked. So who abandoned that baby? One of those call girls? Or was it a teenager from the local high school just down the street? No one ever claims Lawndale's baby Doe. Fast forward 34 years, that baby is now all grown up.
You take this one, Anna.
Janet Barnicoat lives north of Los Angeles, about 100 miles from where she was found.
This is my dad.
After a year in foster care, Janet got lucky. She was adopted.
Tell me about your adoptive parents.
They found out they couldn't have children, so they started to do the adoption process.
Janet has an idyllic childhood, boisterous birthday parties, dance lessons, and even her own pony named Crocodile Dundee. Around the time Janet entered junior high school, she started to pepper her parents with questions about her past.
Do I have siblings? Who are my parents? Why was I adopted? Why didn't they want me?
The Barnicoats sat her down for a candid conversation.
I just remember sitting at the kitchen table and they had pulled out the newspaper articles about the lady who found me riding her bike. And
Janet always knew she was adopted, but when she found out she was abandoned, she was shaken to the core.
I got really mad and angry, and I held on to that for quite a long time. And
Mad and angry at
my birth mother for, felt like she tossed me away. It was tearing me up inside, and I couldn't handle that anymore. And then you're gonna go G, rest.
Janet is now mother to her 5 children.
Once upon a time, once having my own children, you figure out what that natural true love is, and I just couldn't understand how she didn't have that for me.
Because Janet is a foundling, she has no identifying information, no medical records, no birth certificate.
It's a total blank slate. As far as identity, there's no history, there's no roots.
Desperate for any clues, Janet turned to that 34-year-old newspaper article and comes up with a name. That Good Samaritan who found her in the paper bag, Joanne Hauser.
She was my last connection to my birth mother.
She uploaded a picture of herself holding a sign looking for that woman on the bike.
I'm so excited. Hi. Oh.
And that led to this emotional, heartfelt reunion with her guardian angel in 2013, all captured on video by a friend.
She told me that I wasn't crying, more of like a whimper, and
I imagine you also must have thanked her that day.
oh, I did, yes. She could have just kept going, and I wouldn't be sitting here today.
They became Facebook friends and agreed to stay in touch. But in terms of Janet's family tree, Joanne is a dead end, offering no clues about Janet's mysterious abandonment.
The only other way that they can learn about their heritage and their birth families is DNA.
She sends a saliva sample to Ancestry.com, and almost immediately, Baby Doe hits pay dirt, a notification she has a match.
And I was like, what? Wait a minute.
But not just any match, a match on her maternal side. It's a brother sharing the same mother. His name, Dean Hundorf. Elated, Janet looks him up on Facebook, and staring back at her is a mirror image of herself.
And I was like, oh my goodness, it's a boy version of me.
Well, that must have been a thunderbolt. I mean, to think all your life I will never know anything about my biological family. Now, boom.
It was amazing. It was so great.